हेलो एंड वेलकम वंस अगेन। आपका स्वागत है एक बार फिर से बियॉन्ड द बाउंड्री टू आई स्पोर्ट्स पर। और आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे डे टू। और लगा नहीं ना बिल्कुल भी कि सेकंड डे चल रहा है टेस्ट मैच का। इट्स जस्ट बीन अ कंप्लीट टर्न अराउंड फ्रॉम डे वन इन पर्थ। सो मेनी विकेट्स ऑन डे वन, 17 विकेट्स टुडे मॉर्निंग, 3 विकेट्स और उसके बाद रुक गया। नो फर्दर विकेट्स as Yashasvi Jaiswal and KL Rahul put India in a situation of great advantage, great dominance possible here. Potentially, India is in a winning situation going ahead. Lekin, we'll hold on our horses. 3 days game still remaining, and anything can happen in Test cricket. But to look back on today's play, we have a full panel. Let's welcome K. Srinivas Rao, Group Sports Editor, TOI, and we have Nitin Nayak and Dopayan Datta, as always, joining us as well. Welcome, gentlemen. And first comments from Srini and all of you. In fact, Test cricket, right? Such a beautiful thing. एक दिन कुछ और, दूसरे दिन कुछ और. कल हम बात कर रहे थे पिच में ये है, पिच में वो है. 2.5 दिन में मैच खत्म, ऑक्शन से पहले मैच खत्म. This that. Nothing doing. Today was absolutely looked like a belter of a pitch, even when the Australian lower order was batting. Um, yeah, give me your lowdowns, guys. Let's start with that. Srini, let's start with you.
So, yeah, Chetan, sorry to digress, but I have to say this. So, I'm part of a WhatsApp group with some of my friends, and we were doing wagers at the start of the series, and everybody had to take a call on what the eventual scoreline is going to be. So, everybody said, Are this is we will lose 4-0, this, that, and I said 3-1.
Hmm.
Okay, that was my
Hmm.
wager, and luckily for me, I didn't say which team, so I'm still winning out there. Uh, you know, so it's what can I say? I mean, I
Hmm.
think this sums it up. The mood that was prevailing in the run up to the series, much
Hmm.
had to do with what had happened in the series against New Zealand, and a long standing trouble with the top order and with some of our prominent batsmen not getting runs. To
Hmm.
all of this had accumulated, and we were then the absence of Shami, and the old pace order gone awry. You're just depending too heavily on Jasprit Bumrah. All these things were playing on our mind. That KL Rahul's dismissal in the test against New Zealand, when he lifted his hand and the ball went from between his legs.
No,
That
India
had
A.
stayed.
Sorry, Australia A. That was Australia A. Yeah.
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 So, all of this had stayed in the mind. And, well, I mean, you can't fault anyone for thinking that,
Hmm.
India really had a very slim chance going into a series like this. And then the way it starts. And I was, yesterday when we were talking, and somebody, I don't know who said that, was it a great decision to win the toss? And, sorry, I mean, was it a great decision to bat first? Suddenly, when things get going, I guess it all begins to look very different. That's what is
Yeah.
happening,
I
and
mean,
I'm sure we'll discuss a lot of it going forward.
yeah, we'll come to
But
that. In fact,
there
that
are
is.
smiles on everybody's faces.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Indian fans are looking very hopeful. They're starting to, have fun. They're cracking jokes at Australia's expense. And on that note, I want to bring in Nitin Nayak. Nitin, do you still not like the pitch or not like the decision to bat first? I mean, what's your lowdown? क्या turnaround हुआ है? And I'm talking about the conditions, in Perth. It's been an absolutely 360-degree day हो गया. Just 3 wickets lost. India का top order, Yashasvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul looking like $1 million. 160 without loss. 150 all out, 160 without loss. Let's give your thoughts first.
Almost a retro style test cricket day, 2.5
Yeah.
runs per over, batsmen scoring, in the mid 30s strike rate, apart from that last session where Jaiswal got a few runs when the bowlers started tiring. uh, but yes, I still stick to my decision of had India fielded first, I think we would have been better served.
Hmm.
Of course, I did not expect us to bowl Australia out so cheaply, but
Hmm.
I would still I think that had India bowled first, we would have got the better of the conditions in the first innings also.
Okay. Okay. Dopayan, your thoughts again? Complete turnaround from yesterday. Just the 3 wickets. Give us your thoughts. Starting off.
Yes, yes. The first thing that happened is that the live grass that was there, that was dying down because of the sun
Hmm.
baking down. I
Hmm.
was just thinking on some other a different line. I was just thinking if India had survived the or got all out late yesterday, maybe around the 80th over mark for around 220, the Australia would probably have been better served, because as today the day progressed and the sun baked down, the grass died down, and the pitch became easier to bat on once the new Kookaburra was negotiated. So I thought that was a major factor, and of course, then the brilliance of the two openers came into play.
Yeah,
We saw how Jaiswal and KL Rahul played. KL has come determined and prepared, and Jaiswal has
yeah,
the
yeah,
quality to deal with this. And the fact
yeah,
that he was carrying a 50 run, 44 run lead, that took off that mental burden of him, just that wee bit, which helped. And then once that 20-30 runs happened, 75-run lead, they took it from there. It was a superb batting display, very enjoyable, and the good old fashioned test cricket, slow. I loved the slow game. That was the most beautiful element of this day's cricket. Like even in the
yeah, yeah,
commentary, as old anecdotes were coming in, Gavaskar talking about Hampshire, etc. Hampshire, a match against Hampshire. That's what makes Test cricket. It's not this
yeah,
constant. It's not always a super fast thriller. It need not be,
yeah,
and I loved it. I loved the entire
yeah.
day of.
It
Yeah.
was a proper day of Test cricket, attritional Test cricket कह सकते हैं, and we've got this scorecard on the board. I would have liked to talk about the Australian lower order, but let's get opening comments on this as well. I mean, Jaiswal and Rahul. The thing about Yashasvi Jaiswal that I love so much, that he can modulate in terms of वो किस तरीके से conditions को देख के batting करना चाहते हैं. I think अगर आप देखो न्यूजीलैंड टेस्ट्स में, he was trying to get on top of the bowling, because the conditions were perhaps not that great for batting there. And I think he continued in that way in the first innings, and then he realized his error in terms of going too hard too early. And I think the contrast, Nitin, I'm coming to you here. The contrast in his approach today, this is why this is a future star in the making. This is why Yashasvi Jaiswal could be serving Indian cricket at least for the next 5 to 7 years across all three formats, if not 10 years. अगर हम बात करते हैं ना कि रोहित शर्मा विराट कोहली के बाद कौन, यशस्वी जायसवाल is the one who could put his hand up and say, you know what, I'm here. I'm the one who could develop into that superstar batter. Nitin.
Yeah, and he learnt well from his first innings dismissal also,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I think what happened there was he played away from the body loosely on the rise. Here, I think he left a lot of deliveries, especially I think of Mitchell Stark. I think left arm pacers have troubled him. I think even in South Africa, I think he got out 4 times to Nandre Berger, um, and I don't think he got too many runs there. Even here in the first innings, I think he got out to Mitchell Stark.
Hmm.
So left arm pace has bothered him, but here I think he made a conscious effort to play tight, to leave a lot of balls, and not play that drive on the rise, which got him out in the first innings.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is something that I really love, because I think he's going to realize quickly कि अगर आप वो 5-10 ओवर में on the rise नहीं खेलोगे ना ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, and if you have proper bounce on pitches like this, it is going to serve you very well, because he's somebody who likes playing his strokes. Srini, coming to you, we saw उसकी mentality में, यशस्वी जायसवाल की, we saw that mentality, वो खड़ूस mentality है ना, after getting out for that duck, just trying to get on top of the way he got out, cut out that particular shot. We have talked so much about cutting out particular shots. वो शॉट नहीं दिखा वो पहले 10 ओवर में. He was not playing on the up. Only when the ball, just softened a bit and he was set properly. I think 40 odd के बाद he started playing his really attractive stroke. So initially that Khadoos mentality, yeah, I have to stick at the crease. What are your thoughts on Yashasvi Jaiswal? Wait. You're muted. Yeah, go ahead.
Yashasvi being at the crease and India not getting a boundary for 25 odd overs, I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty good explainer for what he brought to the table today. But when he was
Yeah.
playing Netherlands, he was, you could see that frustration that he could not get on top of him. Netherlands
Yeah.
was maintaining that very tight line just
Hmm.
outside the off stump, and this guy just kept moving out of the crease to like whack it towards the offroad, and the fact that he couldn't get it until that single finally came, and he kind of, so it, you could see that frustration. मतलब उसमें वो है, वो कीड़ा तो है, that he wants to get on top of the bowler and that he wants to
Hmm.
dominate, उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. The only thing was today, of course, a lot of restraint, and thank God, I mean, I didn't get to either read or hear that baseball nonsense anywhere. Nobody was talking about it and how Test cricket has changed, and how for once it was classic Test match bowling. Credit to the Aussies, because they it was a very disciplined line. Luck didn't go their way, but they did all the right things. I mean, they didn't bowl badly at all.
Hmm.
And then credit again to Yashasvi and KL. The kind of put their heads on. Thoda luck be kind of sided with India, inside with Australia, kind of a thing. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, full marks to Yashasvi, I guess, for just doing what was required. And I, by the way,
Yeah.
I mean, they should learn their lessons from something like this. Please remember, it's a 5 day match. I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of hurry are we in to not understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
today is still only day two, and it's
Yeah.
already the third innings of the Test match. So,
Yeah, yeah. In fact, when the Indian innings started, and for the first half an hour we didn't lose our wicket, Dopayan, I was thinking, yeah, it's just day two. What kind of a total are we even looking at? How much is the pitch going to wear and tear? Like you said, the grass had gone off, the sun was baking. लेकिन फिर भी होता है ना कि this is an unprecedented situation. I mean, we've seen it in India. We've seen it happen in India a lot, but those are raging turners. You're looking at a lot of
Yes.
spin, a lot of bounce, a lot of uneven bounce, in fact, for batters to comprehend. यहाँ पे the ball is coming perfectly on the bat, and then you have the likes of Hazelwood and Cummins and Stark. They're all blunted. Nathan Lyon blunted. So I was just thinking, India needs to bat time. And I think today, if we talk about batting time, that's what Rahul and Jaiswal have done. Your thoughts on Yashasvi Jaiswal batting time, and then we'll start talking about KL Rahul, because I think KL Rahul is going to be a bonkers topic to discuss here. Dopayan, first on Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yes, when the innings started, I was still worried. I was still worried because I was worried about the new Kookaburra ball, because
Hmm.
had two or three wickets gone down with that new Kookaburra ball, anything could have happened. India would have
Yeah,
might have folded for 150. So that threat was still there. But yes, that was the time when he kind of both of them reined their games in, and Yashasvi did that beautifully. He absolutely did that very well. And the part that I was very impressed about is that phase that Shini was talking about just after tea, in a phase where India got only 14 runs of about 10 overs or so, but they did
hmm.
not give it away. Like, there was no rash stroke. Like, this Yashasvi Jaiswal is a product of the T20 system. So he has come from there.
Yes,
He has been built to become a success in IPL. But then he has learned how to get that restraint into his game. That is the most beautiful part of his game, and that is what makes me so happy about this generation of young Indian players, that they are not they are mavericks, but they are not crazy. That,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
that's the,
yeah.
that's the
I want
most
to, yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah. I
that
want to touch.
that's the,
Yeah, I want to touch
yeah,
on that. Yes,
yeah. That's what impressed me most. And he can change gears, mind it. And I am telling you, Chetan, tomorrow first session, if he doesn't get out early, this old
he will
Kookaburra
change
ball,
gears. Yes, yeah,
between 60 to 80, they will take heavy toll of this second coin.
yeah, and I
This
think that is what. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think 60 to 80 overs के बीच में, after they survive, how many overs today? Yeah, 53 overs today. So you
54, I
survive,
think,
yeah,
53. Yeah.
54 overs. You survive the day. You survive the first hour tomorrow, and you are into what? You're looking at a 60-62 over old ball, and then you can tonk it really for those 18 overs. That 18 over, उसमें क्या होगा? A lot of questions coming कि जब रोहित शर्मा वापस आ जाएंगे तब क्या होगा? We'll come to that, guys. Just hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're trying, Nitin, those 18 overs, tomorrow are going to be very, very important. But यहाँ पे, you look at how Rahul has batted, and you look at how just Jaiswal has batted, and you're looking at two different templates, right? Why I say two different templates? Because Rahul has batted in one way, whether it's the first innings or the second innings. First innings, mein also he got a start, and we appreciated the way he batted yesterday, and we need to appreciate him some more. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Um, uh, but Yashasvi Jaiswal and KL Rahul, two different templates there, and we are looking at stroke makers like Rishabh Pant, Yashasvi Jaiswal. This is how they bat. Dhruv Jurel, perhaps, this is how you bat. आप अपना time लो शुरुआत में, then go for your strokes. And you look at the senior pros, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and all. इनको खड़ूस क्रिकेट खेलना पड़ेगा, इनको विकेट पे रहना पड़ेगा. I think India has got this dual template now, how to progress in the series from here. I think there's a lot to learn with this partnership today. Srini, just coming to you. Let's go first to Nitin. You're muted. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. First half an hour, if especially if Jaiswal gets through to his 100 in that, then I think
Yeah.
he'll go after Nathan Lyon especially. And
Yeah.
I think what the Aussies might then consider is, after that first spell of either Cummins or Hazelwood, is they might bowl a mixture of Lyon, Marsh, and Travis Head to rest their bowlers for the new ball. So that is where India's chance lies to really press home the advantage
Yeah.
and get I think about before the second new ball arrives. I think we should be around
Yeah.
350 ahead, and then I think then I think we should have some fun. But the
Okay.
second new ball again, people like Kohli basically bat the day out tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Srini, you wanted to say, you want to talk about this partnership, this template that we have got. Yeah. Please, guys, one request, whenever you start speaking, please check your mics,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
they are
yeah.
muted.
You know, one thing that comes coming to mind is India could do a Multan here in some ways, in the sense that what the Multan, mind goes back to that series and that test match, and what they did to the bowlers in one, what Virendra Sehwag did to the bowlers in one day in Multan. The after
Yeah.
effect of that, kind of remained throughout the series, where they just lost their rhythm, their momentum. So
Hmm.
today you have, on day three, India will have that opportunity. It's a great batting track, okay, and you have two very good settled batsmen in the middle. You got to take advantage of this and make these bowlers like really toil. The more you can mentally impact, kind of make an impact there on the mind of these bowlers, that it's easy for you to kind of get these runs on Aussie soil, the more it will stick on their mind and stay on their minds as the series progresses, not giving them the, or rather giving them a tougher time in terms of regaining that confidence as the series goes ahead. So it's a mental game also that's kind of parallelly being played here. And I think that is somewhere India needs to keep in mind. And that's why scoring big and making a statement as this innings progresses. Of course, you got to first build this. And once you build it, then making a statement will be equally, I guess, important.
Nitin, I want to come to you with this. I think batting time is going to be important. Let's not get carried away. ठीक है, आप
Yeah,
score और target हम उसकी बात करेंगे. Score और target, but I think batting time is going to be important because has there been sufficient wear and tear on the pitch? Even if you put on 350 and they have 2.5 days to bat, you're looking at what? 7.5 sessions to bat 350 score. आप score कर सकते हो 350 in the fourth innings if there is not enough wear and tear. And do we have evidence yet that there is enough wear and tear? So my question is, tomorrow India needs to put those runs on the board, big runs. They lead by 218. There is no doubt you have to have 400, 450 on the board. But at the same time, you have to eat enough time out of the pitch, out of the match, that there is a lot more wear and tear. And as Srini said, you have to score a mental point as well. Nitin, and then we'll take the opinion on the same.
yeah. I especially this whole bit about grinding down the bowlers.
Yeah,
What I would like them to see is really cook the Australian trio, pace trio. Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins, to make them come and bowl maybe 25, 30 overs in this innings, so that they're really cooked. by the time, of course, there's a decent gap till Adelaide. I think what we saw today also was because there was such a short turnaround between the two innings. They had to they the Aussies bowled 50 overs yesterday and again had to come back today and bowl. So I think there was not enough recovery time for them, for the bowlers to rest up and then again back it up, back yesterday's efforts again with today. So I think there was a little bit of an energy issue over there. So India can really, if they can grind them down tomorrow and make all three bowlers bowl in excess of 30 overs, I think
Yeah.
I think looking ahead to the series, that would be a great point score.
Okay, so Payan, your thoughts on this batting time? Like you mentioned, runs on the board is great. India in the pole position, that's also great. But at the same time, you also want to bat time and not give a sniff of a chance to Aussie batters, because let's be honest, अगर Indian batters के लिए easy रहेगा on the surface with this normal bounce, and again, I'm saying that why, because हमें नहीं पता कि कितना wear and tear हो रहा है. होगा gradual natural wear and tear होगा, but क्या will it be enough? That is my question. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, to completely secure this game, India needs another 250 runs. If you have to be like, as a fan, if you have to be if you have to feel secured कि नहीं
Hmm.
बस शायद नहीं हार रहे हैं,
Hmm.
like probably 375 is fine. I am telling you,
Hmm.
375 is fine given the quality of the Indian pace attack, and chasing, like fourth innings chase is a different beast altogether. And
Hmm.
especially when you have been all out for 100, your batting lineup is in a very poor shape, and Jasprit Bumrah is almost like definitely will probably give you 2 wickets with the new ball. So there are a few factors which have to. So 375 is probably enough, but that 450 mark needs to be breached for everybody's liking, for even for our liking, so that we can have those moments of leisure and comfort when there will be a bit of a resistance on the part of the Australians. There will
Hmm.
be a bit of a resistance. You can
Yeah.
see that there will be that odd partnership in the middle, and there will be run scored. So already people are texting कि ऐसे नहीं होगा बॉस, ऑस्ट्रेलिया भी करेगा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया will fight back. I'm getting enough and more messages on that. So it is, and people are right on that count. It will happen. It will happen. It does not happen कि India will just roll them over on this pitch. But yes,
Yeah.
for that reason we need that cushion, and for that cushion we need to bat at least an hour after tea tomorrow. Yeah, and
In
I
fact,
would see them bowling an hour after tea tomorrow and have Australia down two wickets
two
down for
down.
about 70
सारा
75.
सोच
Yeah.
लिया है कैप्टन दुपाइन दत्ता ने सब कुछ सोच लिया है we'll come back to what happens tomorrow after day 3 but right now I want to talk about the Indian bowling. Yes, I want to talk about the pitch. Yes, ये सब बातें मुझे करनी है. We still have another 20 minutes to go on the show, but right now, I want to talk about a particular batter. I want to celebrate that batter. I want to give a lot of credit to KL Rahul. And I do we have that comment? I want to ask my producer, do we have that comment from Gautam Gambhir when he left the Indian shores? What did he say? What did Gautam Gambhir say? KL Rahul जैसा player हर team के पास नहीं होता है. And you know what? We talked about this on Beyond the Boundary, that he sometimes doesn't get enough credit. He's a clutch player. Yes, his performance has been really up and down, right? But sometimes, just sometimes, KL Rahul ticks all the check boxes. In the first innings, he did that. Whether he was out, not out, usko side mein rakh do aap. He batted phenomenally in the first innings in really tough conditions, and he came out and he batted in the same way. He did a job for India today. We don't know if he's going to be opening in the second test or not. We don't know if he's going to be playing in the second test or not. I mean, obviously, I think he should be playing in the second test. He should be batting at number 3 if Shubman Gill is not fit. But again, that is a separate debate. Right now, we need to say, KL Rahul, a job well done. Only half done, only half done. Come back tomorrow, bat the first hour at least, make a big 100 here, make a big statement here. But a job well done. Let's start with Srini. ऐसा player, let's start with that गंभीर statement. KL Rahul जैसा player हर टीम के पास नहीं होता है. Bat at open, bat at number 3, bat lower order, keeper batter. I mean, the guy doesn't get enough credit sometimes.
When things don't go for him, this same statement KL Rahul के जैसा player हर टीम के पास नहीं होता है.
नहीं होता है.
Reads or sounds different, and then when
Yeah,
things
it
go in
goes
his
in a
favor,
different direction.
obviously.
But let's be honest, he deserves a lot of credit for the way he's batted.
No doubt about it. In Test cricket, I've said this overseas. He's been a clear asset, and KL. I mean, yes, classy. Kind of typical thing. See, there has been no. Okay, on one hand, I do agree that things have not been very fair on him in terms of the way he's been rotated, etc., etc. But for a longer time, he had, for a quite a duration, he had a coach who really understood where he was coming from. I thought Rahul Dravid and KL Rahul belonged to somewhere. They went back to the same school of things. Kind of coming from Karnataka, etc., etc. So from that standpoint, I am that stabilization should have happened, and it's a ironical that it's coming from a man like Gambhir who's saying that kind of things should be corrected on that front. To that extent, I totally agree where you're coming from. Having said that, well, it's a cricketer's job to kind of make do with all that comes their way. I mean, from that to that extent, I think the consistency part has been missing. You want to see the scale Rahul, more of this scale Rahul, whether you're playing at home, and I don't know if you're a great it one thing is very clear to me. This batting lineup, regardless of KL Rahul, everybody put together, we have come out as essentially very, very poor players of spin to have struggled in their back in our own backyards. And on bases like this is where we have concentrated and put far more efforts, and which actually shows when we kind of go touring. From that standpoint, KL abroad has been a great asset. Consistency is something that I kind of look at. Unfortunately, when Rohit returns, he'll have to give up the spot, goes back to number three. Kind of, it'll happen to him again. But then, is there a choice? I don't think so. See, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'll continue to trouble him. This slot
Yeah.
is not his yet.
Yeah, and this slot cannot be his, but we'll come to that discussion. Nitin Nayak, first of all, Nitin and Dopain, your thoughts on the way KL Rahul has batted in the first and the second innings? Tremendous job. Let's be honest, and he's again, like I said, he's set a template, and we had our Sridhar with us, former India fielding coach, and he said somebody needs to do that Pujara job, for the Indian team, and I think KL Rahul has put his hand up in that way and said, okay, guys, you need somebody to bat time. You need somebody to eat up a lot of deliveries. I am the guy who's going to be doing that. Nitin first, and then we'll go to Dupayan.
Yeah, he's someone like a shock absorber, isn't it? Now in this team, because that's what Cheteshwar Pujara used to do, and in this, at least in this lineup, without Rohit, without Shubman, I think he has taken it upon himself to be the shock absorber. What I also liked, apart from his own innings, was walking up to Yashasvi whenever he thought that he was getting a bit edgy or he was being a bit flashy. He kept on walking towards him. He told him, boss, tighten up, tighten up, tighten up. And yes, there was a nod back from Yashasvi to him. So they batted beautifully in partnership. And KL obviously being a lot more senior and probably being on his fourth tour to Australia, and having seen multiple a variety of conditions all across the world, I think he was the right man also to guide Yashasvi. And
Hmm.
let's not forget that he's probably playing for his career in this series.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
so that's
that's also
that's a
true.
huge
Yeah,
motivation. Yeah, that's a huge
yeah, that's
motivation
also
for him
true.
because
Dupayan,
he
we're
is.
getting a lot of, yeah, we're getting a lot of comments. Ki second test mein kya hoga? Second test mein kya hoga? Before we take that, do you want to comment on KL Rahul's batting in the first and second innings?
Yes, yeah, the very fact that Cheteshwar Pujara said that KL Rahul is my choice for number three, it intrigued me at that point of time. But the way KL is batting at times, I am feeling whether he had a word with Cheteshwar Pujara himself. Like Sridhar that day was saying, no, like Pujara
Should
should
be a
have been
mentor.
as a
Yeah.
mentor in the team. I'm just wondering because there are certain elements about Pujara's batting which he is trying to incorporate into his game, like keeping the
Hmm.
bat inside and all that. Like and at times, like ready to look unattractive for the sake of the team. That is a very important thing because KL Rahul himself is a very attractive batsman when he chooses to be like when he plays in his full flow. He's a very attractive batsman to watch, which Cheteshwar Pujara wasn't. Well, let's be honest, but he was immensely effective. That was the beauty of Cheteshwar Pujara. And like KL is ready to be that. Like that is what I am
Yeah, that
really
is very
happy
important.
about.
Yeah,
I am
yeah, that
really
is
happy.
very
And
important.
yeah, yeah. And today, Hayden made a very interesting comment. He said that Rahul's average is in the 40s. Like he's a player whose average should be in the 60s. He has that amount of talent. So yeah, it is good to see that he is recognizing the talent that he has. He's channelizing it properly and doing the job that he is for India in this test match. Yeah, it's a very very good sign and a positive sign going forward.
Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll take some of your questions now. Thanks for all your comments. We're going to take those comments just a bit. You know what? You know, talent milna or talent ko use karna. These are two very different things. And KL Rahul, for what it's worth, I'm not sure. Like Hayden said, Matthew Hayden. I mean, हमारे कहने से भी नहीं होता है. Matthew Hayden is somebody, you know, who's played the game at the highest level, who's a legend of the game. If he says that KL Rahul should be averaging 60, okay, maybe not 60, maybe definitely around 50. You know, he really should have done better with his career in terms of what he's done, because the ability is there, the talent is there. But now let's talk about this. What happens in the second test match? I mean, Rohit Sharma comes back. Shubman Gill's fitness, we don't know. And from what Sahil Malhotra has said, our ace reporter, that there is a good chance that Shubman Gill might be out for the second test as well. If Shubman doesn't come back, automatically KL Rahul slots in at 3. But what if Shubman comes back? Does he still automatically slot in at 3? Because a batter like KL Rahul in this Pujara mode, आप उसको 4 तो छोड़ दीजिए, 5 6 पर नहीं खिलाना चाहोगे. You would want him to bat in the top 3 and blunt the bowling attack, and then the others bat around him. So how do you see this guy? So how do you see this progression going on ahead in the matches to come? Or is it going to be a case of कि नहीं बॉस इंजरी हो गया, कैप्टन वापस आ गया, केएल राहुल को वापस बैठना ही पड़ेगा, or he bats at number 6 instead of Dhruv Jurel? How do you see this playing out? It's still going to be very hypothetical. We don't know what are the different parts and all, especially with Shubman Gill's injury. But how do you guys see this play out? Nitin first and then Gopayan.
Padikal goes out. Rahul bats at three,
Hmm.
and I don't think if Shubman's, you know, if it's a thumb fracture, I don't
Yeah.
see him playing the second test because a
Yeah, even I
fracture,
don't. But उसके बाद
yeah,
news आई थी कि he might just. But let's see
he might.
what
Yeah,
happens.
but
Yeah,
but Mohamed Morkel said that he's not even ruled out of the first test. So
yeah,
we all know
yeah,
how those
yeah,
things are. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
if it's a fracture, let's
yeah.
rule Gill out straight away because it will take minimum 3 weeks for the bone to
Hmm.
heal and before he could pick up a bat.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
and then I'm wondering why can't Rohit bat at three?
Look, Indian think tank doesn't really change its batting lineups. You know, ऐसे तो why didn't Virat Kohli bat at 3? You know, there are so many ifs and buts there, Nitin, and you very well know. You've covered cricket for so long. Indian team management doesn't change those big star positions, you know, in that way. And Rohit Sharma would want to make a statement. He would want to come and open the innings. So yeah, again, I don't see the big names moving around too much. But the big question, Dopayan, here will be what happens if Shubman Gill is fit eventually when he's fit. What happens? Because like I said, the way KL Rahul is batting, you want him to be blunting the bowling attack.
Yes. See, there are so many moving parts to the story as to when Shubman
Hmm.
Gill gets fit and all that. But yeah, but
Hmm.
what I think should happen may happen also is that if Shubman Gill is fit, that is, then
Hmm.
Rohit comes in at the top. Devdutt Padikkal goes out. Uh, I think KL Rahul, the way he is playing, the way he's shaping up, in a good solid number three batter, it's not a bad thing to have. And if he comes down at number three, that's fine. And then if Shubman is fit, then Shubman can come in at five and Pant can come down one step. So we have
Hmm.
that solidity in the middle also. And I think against like Shubman could be more effective against a slightly older Kukabura, the way he bats. So it won't be a bad idea for Shubman to be at five
Hmm.
and punt at 6, and the rest follows. So that
Okay,
can be
let's take
a
a
solution.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Judel,
yeah. Let's
for no fault of his, but sits out in this situation.
yeah, we'll see what happens because, like I said, there are a lot of moving parts in this. Full information is not there, so we'll see what happens. But as of now, it does feel that he will bat at number three in the pink ball test. But again, we'll get to that when it happens. Let's circle back. Let's go back to the Australian innings. Can we have that Australian innings scorecard? I mean, they started off at before we finish off. 67 for 7, if I'm not mistaken. That's where they started off. We've still given them
Yeah.
40 odd runs. Um, Bumrah getting his fiver, that was brilliant. Alex Carey going away very early. किसी का comment आया था कि we should thank Mitchell Stark because he batted. Yeah, here we go. Let's thank Mitchell Stark because he batted a lot in the morning. Otherwise, our batters would have and showed our batters that they had no demons in the pitch and probably जो morning में थोड़ी बहुत freshness रही होगी वो भी शायद खत्म कर दी होगी because if you're facing the new ball, I still think that there is a little bit in the pitch. Um, why I was a little unhappy with the way India bowled, especially with the last wicket partnership. With the Stark and Hazelwood, and it pushed them past. It pushed them past 100. I thought they could have easily saved another 15, 18 runs. In the end, it might not matter. 15, 18 runs might not matter given the way the pitch has eased out. But again, the point here is about bowling at the tail, especially when Siraj was bowling. I thought that was a little too short. The field was really spread out. I thought Bumrah as a captain would be a little more attacking, not allow those easy singles. Why were they allowing Stark such freedom that he faced 112 balls? I thought that was a poor passage of bowling for India, and it was almost similar to the ways we have been bowling to the tail. So यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी improvement जरूर बनानी होगी. Nitin and Dopayan, how did you see that particular passage?
I would just think a little bit differently. I think what they wanted to ensure was not concede too many boundaries to Stark. So, and
Hmm.
once they knew that Stark is not even taking the singles and protecting Hazelwood, so I think they were
Hmm.
pretty comfortable bowling with an
Hmm.
in-out field and not
Hmm.
conceding the bounce. So I think even if you what India bowled what about 28 overs and Australia scored
Yeah.
about 26 runs, I think no
Hmm.
67 plus 30, so 37 runs. So
37.
they scored about 1.2, 1.3 runs per over. So um, and it's not as if they did not bowl well because Rishabh I think misjudged misjudged that catch which went between him and Virat in the slip of Hazelwood of the bowling of Bumrah, and I think that had that happened, I think that they would have been what 90 all out. So it's okay. I mean, 104 all out. What it only took, the only disadvantage I saw was it took a little more overs out of Bumrah, which I would not really want. I would want Bumrah to remain as fresh as he possibly could.
Hmm. Okay, Dhupayan, your thoughts on this? Did you feel Siraj? Okay, I understand where Nitin is coming from in terms of protecting the runs because runs were at a premium. आप उस time पे extra runs नहीं देना चाहोगे. Somebody asked me on Twitter as well, why Washington Sundar isn't bowling, and I thought Washington Sundar not bowling a lot again had to do with the fact that Stark might just take on Sundar and get a few boundaries in. So protecting runs was very important at that stage. But uh, Siraj, I thought bowled a little short, and I think that is going to be a problem because you can't always have Bumrah bowling at the top order, middle order, picking up wickets even in the lower order. So if you're bowling at the lower order, if Siraj is somebody who has to take the lead, you have to pitch it a little up. I thought he was a tad short today in this morning, and that is something that really disappointed me.
Could be, it's slight nitpicking, but yeah, like if you insist, yes, yeah, ideally a lethal Yorker, if you have one, bowl it at the number 9 and number 11 and finish it off. Had it been a Wasim Akram or a Walker
Yeah.
Yunus, they would probably have done that.
Mm,
I'm not very sure whether Siraj has that delivery in his
yeah.
armory. I'm not very sure whether he has that. So he's sticking to his guns, and I would completely agree with Nitin on this point because At that point, India was still playing a low scoring game in their mind, and the demons of the pitch were still playing in their mind. So they were
Yeah,
so conservative about the runs that a
yeah.
little another extra half an hour on the field did not bothered them too much, as long as the boundaries were not happening. Had
Hmm.
there been a few boundaries, had that lead gone come closer to 150, then we could have said that yes, it was that what they didn't do, what they do wasn't exactly right. But because it shaped up, and as he said that there was a chance when the score was 90, so it was okay, it was okay. थोड़ा एक 20-25 रन तो एक पार्टनरशिप तो होगा ना. It's okay, like
Again,
let's.
about no, again, it's not about again, it's not about the partnership. It's not about again, like I said, I thought protecting the runs was really important, which is why you did not put on Sundar at that particular time. I was just a little disappointed with the kind of length that was being bowled, or वो भी काफी समय के लिए, as you mentioned, we bowled around what 26, 28 overs, and we gave away
Yeah, and
37 runs
another
only.
point, Chetan, yeah, what they could have done is the way they got finally this Stark out, they got the mid on and mid off in. Yeah,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
they could
yeah,
have
yeah, which
done
is
that
something that they could have done
a
earlier.
couple of
Yeah.
times, so that yeah, when Bumrah etc. were bowling, then he would have
Yeah, with
probably
Siraj
tried one
bowling,
and
that was
tried
not the
one.
case.
Yeah,
With Siraj
yeah,
bowling, that
yeah,
was not the
yeah.
case. And sometimes what happens is especially when you have a bowling captain tends to give जो भी bowling कर रहा होता है ना, अगर बुमराह
Hmm.
captain है and Siraj is
Hmm.
bowling, he would tend to give the feel that Siraj in particular wants, and not exert himself, not think from that batter perspective. But again, yeah, maybe I'm nitpicking. We'll see. Final question for you guys: how do you see this game play out? I'll start. I'll start first of all. Yes, we need 450 the target. ऐसा होना ही चाहिए. 450 target चाहिए. First hour tomorrow is very important. Australia will be like, oh, what has happened? What has happened? What has gone wrong again? But there's still a lot of time left in this match. What India need to guard against still is perhaps if there is no other batting collapse. First hour, then the new ball. These two are going to be very important passages tomorrow. If India doesn't collapse, the game is ours. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. You put 400 runs on the board, the game is ours. But if there's a collapse, there is a lot of time remaining in this match. And that is what I am worried about. How do you guys see this game playing out? Nitin first, and then finally Dwapan.
Yeah, in the couple of series that have gone away from India in the
Hmm.
last 2 3 years have all been about underperforming in the third innings. Be it Edgbaston in 2022, Cape Town in 2022, Johannesburg in 2022. I think we collapsed in the third innings, which could not give the bowlers enough runs in the fourth innings to defend. Although Bairstow and Root batted beautifully at Edgbaston, but there also we had the chance to put the game to bed, which did not happen. So here we have to avoid a 5 for 50, 5 for 60 kind of a collapse. Even if we lose 5 wickets in a particular period or a session, we should ensure that the cost for those 5 wickets should be at least in three figures and not
Hmm.
double digits.
Okay, Dwapan.
Yes. So if India collapses the way they collapsed against in that pink ball test in Adelaide in 2020, then it becomes like what they give Australia something in the 250 region, 250
Hmm.
260 region. I'm saying the worst possible collapse. Then it's
Hmm.
a 50-50 game, then it becomes an absolute 50-50 game. If India gets a moderately decent run about 130 then it's a 65-35 game for India. And if
Let's
India go to
calculate
that,
calculate.
and if India go past 450, we are winning.
Right.
So yeah,
Priyanshu has
that
just
is
come in
how
and
I
he
will.
said, yeah, okay. Dopayan is very confident. Captain Dopayan. He says, Priyanshu says 25 overs till new ball. Runs Banalo isme. I kind of agree, but again, the first hour of play, I mean, I would say around 18 overs till the new ball, because pehle 7 over aapko, you don't want to lose wickets. You don't want to give them an in. You don't want Devdutt Padikkal or Virat Kohli at the crease tomorrow, first up in the first half an hour of play. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Tomorrow, big, big day. 3:30, we'll be back again, and we'll be talking about the third day's play once again. And by the time we finish talking about थोड़ा बहुत टेस्ट क्रिकेट के बारे में बात करेंगे. By that time the IPL auction would have started. So yeah, beyond the boundary, TOI Sports is where you need to be tomorrow. We'll be analyzing and dissecting third day's play as well as the IPL auction, whatever happens there as well. Do subscribe on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, on X. Please keep following. We love having you watch our show as well as love your comments as well. We can't always take all comments, but we try and take as many as possible which are relevant to the conversation. Big thank you to K. Srinivas Rao, Nitin Nayak, and Dopain Datta for
Thank you.
joining us once
Thank
again
you.
today. Look forward to your company tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Do join us on TOI Sport. Until then, take care.